Hello everyone and welcome back. My name, of course, as you all know, is Resonant, and welcome back to another video. Before I start this video, I have a couple of quick announcements to make. First of all, any of you that haven't gone and joined the Mount & Blade Bannerlord community Steam group should do so. There are regular updates on Mount & Blade Bannerlord and announcements whenever I post a new Bannerlord video. You'll also have the chance to be featured in such videos. For example, if I need suggestions on things to do, or I need suggestions like my speculations video, many of you are featured on that, and I think you guys enjoyed that. So if you want to be a chance to feature in a video, go join the Steam group, link in the description. Also, there is still time to enter the Of Kings and Men giveaway I'm running on the channel. Bannerlord giveaways will be coming soon. I wanted to make a video before GAMESCOM about what I think is going to be shown by the Bannerlord team. So I'm putting this together after the event so we can look back and see what I got right and see what I got wrong. And let's be honest, I'm probably going to get most things wrong, but hey ho, let's do it anyway. So, without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, first, what I've been thinking is, I hope they show more single player. And in the E3 gameplay, we did get to see some single player. We got to see the world map, how it looks. It looks beautiful. We get to see everyone bustling everywhere. We got to see in the towns, we got to see in the villages, and we got to see the kind of things you can do, like beating up robbers and going and weapon crafting and that kind of stuff. But I kind of want to see more. I want to see, are they going to do quests? Because obviously there were quests in Mount & Blade Warband. They weren't extremely in-depth. They were quite repetitive. Maybe they're going to do some more things with the quest. There's a lot of things you can actually do with this such a thing, like hunting people down. You can maybe get an army to a certain size and then go and attack a certain city. And maybe you even have to just capture a city and build it up to a certain point, and that will be a good quest, because that will help people progress in the game. It'll be really interesting to see what they can do with the quest, and hopefully they can show a bit of that at Gamescom. Something else I wanted to see was town management. Now, we have heard that building in your towns is a possibility. Actually, if you get a village, you can build it up into a castle and such things like that. Building mills and stuff was available in Mount & Blade Warband, watchtowers and stuff, but it was very minimal the amounts you could actually build. And maybe we'll see some changes on the actual in-game map after, once you build, like, let's say you build a massive keep on this castle, then that will show up on the in-game map, and I think that will look really cool, and hopefully we can see some type of building or advancements in your towns and cities and town management. Another thing I think would be really interesting to see at Gamescom 2016 would be the different troop trees. Now, in Mount & Blade Warband, you have different troop trees for different factions. So let's say you're going in Swadia. Swadia is obviously the one with the best cavalry, because, you know, if you want cavalry, you're going to go Swadia. First, you get the Swadian recruits and upgrade it to militia. From militia, you can go to footmen, and from footmen, you go up to the man-at-arms and then Swadian knights. I think this is a really good way of doing it, have different troop trees for different factions, and I can't actually wait to see what they can do in Bannerlord. Maybe they're going to have more troop trees, maybe they're more in-depth troop trees. We can only wait and find out. Linking on to troop trees is, I hope they show more in-depth information about the different factions. Now, we know we've got a number of new factions coming in to Mount & Blade Bannerlord, with different troop trees and different weapons and armor and all that good stuff. And I want to see more information about this. We don't know a ton about the factions. We know their background and we know where they came from, but we don't know a lot of all the kind of weapons and armor we'll be using with them, because then we can plan about how we're going to conquer this new map. Now, a lot of you will remember some gameplay was shown at E3 about a battle where he had his massive army and the AI were on top of the hill. The AI charged down the hill at them and they were defeated. But I want to see other ways AI can behave in battles. Is this all they can do? Is it not going to be as advanced as we hope for? I don't know. Maybe they'll have different tactics. I want to see the AI, how they work properly in sieges. Now, obviously, after that siege gameplay, we did see some troubles with them getting through doors and such. But they were throwing down things through the death holes and things, and battering down the gates. What other things can the AI do? How do they behave in the battles? But also the outer map. How will lords grow their empire? How will they attack you and maybe stop your trade routes? I want to kind of see how the AI is working in that. They did show a bit, but not much, and I kind of want to see more in depth. What are your views on that? Would you want to see more about the AI, or are there other things that you'd rather see? Now, we've talked about single player a bit, so what I'm going to do is we're going to move on to multiplayer. Now, there are a lot of new opportunities Tailworlds can do with multiplayer. Obviously, new gamers. We had in Warband we had sieges, where massive battles fighting against the massive castles or even small fortresses. And later on there was modded in servers Neo GK Siege, where you can get catapults and ballistas and even hot air balloons to get over the walls. Now obviously, sieges is probably the biggest game mode so far, so siege is a really massive thing, and I kind of want to see what kind of new game modes they're adding in. I haven't really thought too much about any new game modes they could add in so far, but maybe they could think something else. Maybe you guys could leave in the comments what you would like to see. Is there anything that wasn't in Warband or Napoleonic Wars and such that you'd like to see as a game mode in Bannerlord? I think there are some really cool opportunities and things they can do to add into the Bannerlord and make it a really good and long-lasting game for a wider audience. Not only could they add in new game modes, but maybe improvements on the last game modes. And I've been thinking about this, and for example, let's take Siege. Now in Siege, you start the battle, there's defenders and there's attackers. Attackers normally get unlimited lives, they respawn pretty much instantly, and they just have to keep going until the time runs out, and if they don't capture it, defenders win. If they capture it, obviously, attackers win before the time runs out. The defenders sometimes have a certain amount of lives, or if not, they always have a longer spawn period. And obviously, this makes the defenders at a bit of a disadvantage in that aspect, but they have the advantage of having wars to defend. Now, what would be a good way of advancing this game mode and improving on it? Now, obviously, I think having maybe more than one defense would be a quite good thing. So you have a first tier flag, because what ancient, medieval, and historical sieges and armies used to do is they didn't have just the main castle. They had different layers to it. They had the first layer wall sometimes. Now, obviously, this isn't everything. This is just sometimes. They would have a first layer wall. They'd have some towns, maybe some armories and stuff like that, or most of the armies would be in the main keep. But they would have some blacksmiths and stuff, and some defending points in the outer walls. And then they had another wall going into the inner wall. Now, what this would add is some tiered effects to the gameplay. So maybe they have to capture the first area. Once they've captured that, the attackers can then spawn there, and then they go into the second area. And obviously this would put them on a massive advantage into the gameplay, and it'll put a massive bigger scale into the siege gameplay in Bannerlord. And I think that'll be a really cool aspect they could add in. What are your ideas for improvements on other game modes? Siege is the only one I've really thought about thus far, because that's kind of the biggest one in Warband at the moment. So what are your ideas? Leave it in the comments. There could be a lot of improvements they could do on the last game modes. Now, something a lot of people have been speculating is improvements on battle sizes. Now, obviously, 200 players is about the max. I think you can get up to, like, maybe 210. I think I've seen a 250 Napoleonic Wars slot server, but it's mostly around 200 for Warband. And this is massive. This was kind of the first game to actually, that wasn't an MMO, that did this in the multiplayer PC genre. But how big can they push it? A lot of people have said 300. I mean, they were talking about around 300 in the E3 on some aspects, but maybe they could push it even further. I think maybe 300-400 would be amazing. Imagine that, 200 players aside. That would be absolutely insane. And linking in with this, another idea I've had is map sizes. Now, a long time ago, that's many longs, they did release some gameplay for the editor, and they were showing a massive map, and that looked truly massive. Now, if that's anything like the size of the actual game, that would be insane. Imagine like a massive map, maybe 3-4 times the size of the normal battle size maps in Mount & Blade Warband, with hundreds and hundreds of players per side, charging at each other across a massive map in an all-out battle war. Now, I think that will really add to the game, and that is going to bring in so many more people. Just seeing videos of charging in battles with hundreds of people on each side, I think that'll be absolutely insane. So if you guys think that's going to be a good thing, how big do you think they're going to be able to get it? How big, how many troops on a battle? Or how big are the map sizes going to be? I'm going to put some gameplay of the map editor in the background, and you'll be able to see how big they are actually making it. Now, something else in Warband, in multiplayer, you've got different classes and different armor and weapons. Now, it'll be cool to see what they can add. What other classes? Maybe like a halberdier class, a pikeman class, because you've kind of got infantry, you've kind of got a skirmish class, so like crossbowman and archer, you've got cavalry. And what else can they do with that? Maybe they could add a spearman class, so it kind of separates those two. I don't know, because they've kind of merged that in with the infantry at the moment. Maybe swordsman, spearman, I don't know, crossbowman, archer. But obviously the different factions, you'll be able to have different types of troops. For let's say the Rhodoks, you had crossbowmen, but then again the Vegas, you had archers and not crossbowmen. So that'll be kind of depending on what they bring in with the new factions. But cool classes and armor and weapons are going to be something really cool that I really want to see at GamesCon. And all these things, whatever they show, I know it's going to be amazing. Now finally, there's a couple of things that haven't really been talked about much. And that it was shown a long time ago. But since then, the Telltales haven't really mentioned it that much. The first thing is the editor mode. Now, they show a really in-depth editor mode where you can, it's a 3D editor, a bit like in Warband, but obviously the Warband editor mode is a lot harder to get a hold of. You have to sort around files and stuff, and it's just a bit complicated. But the editor mode in Bannerlord looks really promising. And I think if they show the ability to be able to make massive multiplayer maps, maybe even create your own terrain, mold it and carve it, put rivers in, put castles in for sieges and stuff like that, I think that'll be really good, because in Warband you have to put the individual walls and that's just annoying and it's really hard to control. If they can advance that in Bannerlord, which I'm sure they will, I think that will add a really good aspect into the game. Now finally, something that I haven't really talked about much, they showed a tiny bit of gameplay about it, but this is the replay mode. I don't know about for you guys, but for me the replay mode is going to be a massive thing. For videos, I can have cinematics, we can do massive battles as a community, and I can put them into kind of story-made cinematics, or even maybe a series of a cinematic battle, or voice actor. We can get voice actors in, we can get massive battle sieges, a bit like my Persistent World series, a whole new cinematic thing, a bit like a TV show, but with Mount and Blade Bannerlord. I think that'll be really cool. Also, maybe just for people, you play a battle with your friend, you get a ton of kills just online. You save it and you go around and you can choose the different camera angles. You get some really cool shots of you slashing down the enemy, blood flying everywhere, splattering, slitting their throat. How cool would that be? So the replay mode is something I really want to see, especially at GamesCon. If they show you how you can use it, or maybe just even lightly using it. It doesn't have to be really in depth. I just want to see a bit more gameplay on the replay mode. So what are your thoughts? What would you like to see at GamesCon? I've mentioned a few things that you guys can expand upon, leave it in the comments. But is there anything completely different, completely new that you want to tell me about? What are you looking forward to in GamesCon 2016? And of course, I'll be doing a lot of coverage as soon as gameplay and videos come out. So yeah, leave a comment for those kind of things. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe to the channel for more Bannerlord content. And once again, remember to join the Of Kings and Men giveaway in my previous video if you haven't already. But until then, I will see you in the next one.